Am I the asshole for not attending my husband's celebration dinner due to the restaurant not having anything I could eat? My husband has been working really hard the last 2 years to advance at his company, and he finally got the promotion he's been after. I'm really proud of him. His parents are too and wanted to take us all out to dinner to celebrate. My husband absolutely loves prime rib, and there's only one place in our area that serves it, so he picked that restaurant. Thing is, I'm not fond of steak. I'll eat it, but very rarely. I prefer chicken or fish. I looked up the menu before leaving, and right now they have a limited menu. The place had only 1 fish entree and 2 chicken entrees, and none of them sounded good for various reasons. I suggested that he pick someplace else so everyone can eat. He refused, citing that we rarely get to go to this place but go to other places in our area regularly, which is true, but those places have lots of variety so everyone can eat. He suggested that I ask if they could prepare the fish or chicken without the marinades or sauces, but I didn't want to be difficult for the kitchen staff. His next suggestion was that I order dessert while everyone else ate entrees, and then when we were done, he would take me where I wanted so I could eat dinner while he and the kids ate dessert. So I opted to just not go because I didn't want to sit there not eating and not having a good time while everyone else was. My husband asked me to go so he could celebrate with the people most important to him. I told him no again and that he needed to get going before he was late. He did go but came back a little over an hour later with the kids, and they all had to go boxes. He said he couldn't think of what to tell the kids about why I didn't go when they kept asking without lying or making me sound bad, so he just got an order for them to go and let the kids spend some time with their grandparents talking in the parking lot. I told him he should have stayed, but he said that I put him in a bad spot with the kids and that I knew he wanted everyone there and that I should have just gotten over my picky eating for one night. I maintain if he really wanted us to all eat dinner as a family, then he should have picked a restaurant with a more accommodating menu. Am I the asshole? Update: some of these comments were pretty harsh but a kick in the pants. I've apologized profusely to my husband, and I'm going to take him to that restaurant this weekend and buy him some camping gear he's been eyeing as a start to making it up to him and changing course. Sure. He's the man of the evening, makes perfect sense he gets to eat his favorite thingy. So? And? Okay, that's a shame, but so what? Thank you for listing some of those various reasons for us to consider. Appreciate it. Oh, you suck so much. Why is it okay to be difficult for your husband, regarding a dinner that is happening for the sole purpose of celebrating his achievement, but not okay to be difficult for the kitchen staff, for whom making certain accommodations for guests is part of their job? Why is your husband less worthy of that level of consideration and sacrifice? More to the point, why are you asking him to make that sacrifice? This man is bending over backwards to appease you, just so he can do the one thing he wanted to do, that he never gets to do. Do you see the problem here? I know I've said this before, but apparently it needs repeating. You see, a long time ago, we discovered that the earth revolves around the sun, and not, in fact, around your silly ass. I'm sorry, something seems to be wrong with your post. I know there are actual words there, but all I seem to be able to read is me. That's nice. I maintain that if you don't understand why all of this makes you monstrously selfish, you have no business being married in the first place. Frankly, if you dislike your husband this much, so much that you can't even bear a single dinner of less than ideal choices for the sake of giving him a stress-free spotlight to celebrate under, well, I wonder why you're with him at all. You're the asshole. So many times over. Edit: I remain completely unable to predict which comments I make are going to strike the right nerve, but even so, this is a tad redonkulous. Yeah, OP's post should have just ended with "I'm not fond of steak. I'll eat it but very rarely." Cool, STFU, and eat it on this one rare occasion for your husband's celebration. You don't have a food allergy, you're just picky and love making this all about you. What an You're the asshole, OP. It seems she dislikes a lot more than just the steak. Like her husband. Something, not fond of meat. Maybe I'm being mean here, but odds on the husband posting in a dead bedroom sub if he's on Reddit? Incredible goods odds. Can't imagine what this poor man's birthday and Father's Day consist of. She can't make the small sacrifice of eating steak, which she does rarely, to celebrate something that happens once in a blue moon. Imagine to celebrate something that happens once a year. Agreed. I'm an actual pescatarian, don't eat any animals except fish, ever, and if they had one thing on the menu I could eat, I would have gone with it. You're the asshole, OP. There's always side dishes. Have some baked potatoes and asparagus or something. Or a salad. Add some salmon to that salad and you've got a yummy option. Unless, of course, she hates lettuce. Sigh, it's not lettuce she hates, it's her husband. Or, Jesus, just go and drink water. Tell the waitstaff you're fasting. Just go. Have a celebration. What an asshole. Right? If there was nothing on the menu she could eat, not even a salad or appetizer, she should have eaten before and sat with them to celebrate. OP is significant other TA. My husband loves steak. I'm plant-based and kid is veggie. On his days we take him to get steak. The kid and I get sides or salads and never complained. I can't imagine all the other issues there must be boiling up right now. My husband is vegetarian but goes with me to seafood restaurants on special occasions. He just deals with it for a small handful of meals throughout the year, and has done ever since I gently pointed out that I learned to cook vegetarian for him and most of our meals at home are vegetarian and that 95% of the places we go are catered to his diet. I said it was unfair to be denied the same consideration when I was only asking for it a few times a year. He immediately saw my point and never complained again. When now husband and I were dating, I rarely ate meat, and if I did it was chicken or fish. His family invited me camping and of course I wanted to go. They had planned separate things I could eat, but once we got set up the first night it was really late and I didn't want to inconvenience anyone with having to make someone else for me, so I reluctantly choked down a hot dog. Worst decision ever, as it messed up my guts after not having eaten much meat in over 3 years. No one had any idea and I still had a great time. I finally told my husband a year or so later. I'm so happy I went on that camping trip. He proposed to me at sunrise the following morning. I can't imagine trying to force him to pick another restaurant the way OP has, especially when it's meant to celebrate husband's achievements. Absolutely selfish. I wouldn't even look at the menu, just order a salad or something. Yeah, I'm a vegetarian and I would have gladly had the baked potato if this was all my husband wanted. It's one freaking meal. And she doesn't even need to eat the steak. They have chicken and fish, and, I would guess, salads and bread and side dishes. Right, this is driving me insane. I was a fairly selective eater for quite a while, but I could always find something. Soup, pasta, salad, any form of potato, appetizers, etc. She's being such a pill. I hope I can say that here. I don't eat meat at all, and I'd go anyway, just get a plain salad and fries if that's all they could make for me. My ex, a woman who has actual narcissistic personality disorder, and was a vegetarian at the time, would still take me to a steak dinner on my birthday, at a steakhouse, or to Red Lobster. I can't imagine how exhausting living with OP must be for her husband. Work must seem like a blessed relief. Maybe that's why he got an award for working so hard. I'd like to thank my wife for making sure my home environment supported all the overtime and extra weekends. At no point did the idea that she should compromise on this occasion cross OP's mind. Which is weird. But the weirdest part is that she eats steak rarely. Wait, so, why could this not be one of those rare occasions if OP is as proud of him as she says? That's what I was going to say. So, I assume she benefits from his promotion? OP is definitely the She gaslighted him through the whole thing, ruined the celebration and then wanted to act like a martyr. There is more wrong with this relationship and this is just an example of bigger issues. Right, how could she not get over her BS for one night, a couple hours? For her husband? Wow. You're the asshole op, reevaluate yourself. What makes it worse is she flat out states she'll eat it on occasion, and yet apparently this important moment for her husband isn't a good enough reason to suck it up. They also had chicken and fish. There is literally no reason not to go. Other than being cruel. Uda. I don't eat seafood. At all. Like the smell makes me mildly nauseous. If there was some place that only served seafood, that my husband was dying to go to, because he, on the other hand, loves it, I truly cannot see myself doing anything other than going with him. I'll have some drinks and get happily buzzed and munch on some non-seafood apps or sides. Why? Because I love my husband, we're a team, and I know he'd do the exact same for me. I mean, the dude will eat absolutely anything, but y'all know what I mean. I'm getting some major petty, contemptuous vibes coming from op, so I think she's got disdain for more than steak. ETA, you're the asshole op. Obv. Same. I gag if something even tastes fishy, I won't even touch seaweed. You know what? When my friends want to go to a seafood place, like, not even celebrating something. Just on a normal night out, I get chicken. And if I'm worried it might be cooked on the same surface as the fish, has happened before, I just get a freaking salad. I went to a sushi restaurant for my friend's birthday, had a snack beforehand, and still managed to find something to eat. You're the asshole. God, can you imagine if she did have allergies, how insufferable she'd be? I love sushi and my boyfriend cannot stand seafood at all. Next week for my birthday we are going out for sushi and he's getting the one pork cutlet in the menu because he loves me and knows it's my favorite. I have food allergies and when my little brother and sister want to go to IHOP I sit down and eat a couple strips of bacon and dry toast. Person shrugging. One mediocre meal is worth it for time with people you care about. And I guarantee there's something else on that menu. A salad, for example. May not be her favorite, but better than telling her husband she'll stay home and skip his celebration dinner. OP is the and probably didn't want to actually go out to dinner in the first place. Steakhouses are well aware that beef isn't everyone's cup of tea. They often excel in their other options and usually make killer sides. OP the is mad the celebration isn't all about her. And I mean if she eats beef occasionally as she says, wouldn't a steakhouse be the place to do it? They're gonna have the good beef and know how to cook it properly. This is the real answer. It's not about the steak, chicken or fish. Whatever the OP is mad at her husband about is the real answer. Why she didn't want to celebrate her husband is what she needs to figure out. She seems upset about something way deeper than food and misdirecting all that anger towards something really surface level like where to eat and is making it quite trivial. That's why this post feels superficial. 1. It can be that she doesn't think he deserves a huge celebration for something he has earned because she has not also received any celebration for her accomplishments, and feels disregarded. 2. Or she feels forgotten about for some other reason like an anniversary, birthday, holiday in which her choice of restaurant was not validated and she had to make accommodations for everyone except herself and she is using this as an opportunity to teach him a lesson instead of communicating her feelings directly. 3. Or she may have an undiagnosed mental health disorder, with traits similar to BPD/NPD, and having a large event with the spotlight being on someone other than herself makes her feel inadequate and insecure, so she must redirect the attention onto herself in any way she can. It still isn't about the food. Ruining big events is a common trait among NPD. OP, if none of that is true and you really think you did nothing wrong? You have some harsh life lessons to learn. The world does not revolve around you/your stomach. Eating some food before the dinner, and ordering some tea or coffee whilst at the dinner and just saying I've already eaten is a perfectly acceptable thing to do at a celebration dinner. I've had to do this 90% of the time I go out with friends. I am allergic to mostly everything on every menu. I cannot trust eating out, so I eat before I go, and I get a coffee whilst my friends eat. I go for the company and good times. It's not rude. It's more rude to huff and puff and make it about me and my dietary needs. It's not their fault my body sucks, so I explain ahead of time so there are no weird "why aren't you eating?" questions or pity glances. This was one night. The fact that you could not make accommodations for yourself for one evening speaks volumes to your overall character. That's exactly what I was going to say. Steakhouse sides are amazing and a few make the best little buffet meal for those abstaining from meat. It's one meal for F's sake, you're the asshole. I particularly love how I'll eat it, steak, but very rarely, and then he refused, citing that we rarely get to go to this place. Gee, almost as if these two things can match up perfectly. OP, eat the fucking steak/ribs. A lot of posts like this appear in Am I the Asshole, and there's always a response I keep coming back to. If you truly love this person, this minor inconveniences wouldn't be an issue because your love for said person supersedes it. AKA, love greater than semantics. You're the asshole, this is why. Whenever I post something along the lines of suck it up to be kind to someone you love, I get downvoted a lot and people start shouting. I commented further up the thread about my husband loving seafood / it grossing me out, yet today, I learn it'll encourage him to buy and cook it for himself and our daughter at home. He loves it, just because I don't doesn't mean he should miss out. Plus I've been working on my reactions around our kid, so I don't project and let her decide for herself. Embarrassed smiley face. Sucking it up and doing something you don't like for your partner is not being a doormat. I can't even eat steak and I still would go to a steak restaurant for my spouse. They usually have banging sides anyway. OP is incredibly selfish and owes her husband a do-over celebration. ETA, he tried so hard not to make OP look like an asshole in front of their family. If she only had a fraction of that consideration in return. Exactly. I'm sure they have a side salad and some kind of potato dish. And they have chicken and fish, both of which OP eats. Man, she is selfish. Way to ruin your husband's special night. But, they didn't sound good. OP is something else, I tell you what. You're the asshole. Or order the freaking house salad. It isn't a pain to accommodate their customers more often than not. Or just order a salad. Or do dessert like he suggested. You were just being stubborn for no real reason outside of your own selfishness. You're the asshole so many times over and, emo, you owe your husband a new celebration where he wants to go. And suck it up because you're happy for him and you supposedly love him. Yeah, I have deadly food allergies, so when I read, couldn't I thought that was what was happening. Or a restaurant that even cooks their veggies in butter so a vegan couldn't have anything. But no, she just decided nothing sounded super good and made it her hill to die on. I think anyone who's not selfish has eaten something they weren't totally fond of at least once to be polite. Or for me, if it's literally the only thing I can eat. My friends and family try to be accommodating, but you never know for sure until you walk in. I've been to a few places where I just ate bread or tortilla chips until the mall was over, then grabbed something elsewhere because it wasn't about me. Edit, accidentally typed vegetarian instead of vegan. Don't post on no sleep smiley face. Yeah, OP is a huge ah. I've never been to a steakhouse that didn't have things like salads, bread, potato options, bake/mash/fries, vegetables and sometimes a pasta or soup. OP could totally build a very enjoyable meal ordering 2 or 3 sides a la carte, and if the sides aren't available as individual purchases, which yes they are, I'd bet a shiny new dime that extra sides can be purchased with entrees. Also, having a light snack at home and then enjoying a dessert with a cocktail instead of an entree sounds fantastic. Why yes, I would like to eat that entire slice of cheesecake instead of splitting it, thank you very much. Even if the option was snacking before and after the meal, suck it up, OP it's one night. I'm vegan and have been to steak houses with my husband several times. He's not a big steak eater either, but every once in a while he wants to go to a nicer steak restaurant. I go and just find literally anything on the menu. The very few times we've gone somewhere where there was literally nothing I could eat, I just ordered cocktails instead. In my experience at least, all the steak houses we've been are used to accommodating people. I don't care if it is the saddest looking salad on the planet, I'll order it just so there will be food in front of me and my husband can enjoy something he likes. He does the same thing for me when I want to go to some weird vegan restaurant. Now if it is a Tuesday night and he wants to pick up something from a pizza/chicken place on his way home from work, sure, knock yourself out, go without me. When I was a vegetarian I'd go to a steakhouse and get a baked potato, spinach, and a glass of wine. And that shit was delicious. I'm a vegetarian. I went to the famous St. Elmo's in Indianapolis. Had a baked potato the size of my head, creamed spinach and dessert that was also the size of my head. And it was glorious. OP sounds like a petulant child. Wah wah wah. Me. I live my life by one rule. If there's creamed spinach on the menu then there's creamed spinach on my plate. I'm a vegetarian too, and steakhouse baked potatoes are next level smiley face, they also usually have roasted asparagus. Or Brussels sprouts. Yum. Or buttery mushrooms. Or fancy mac and cheese. I eat meat, but I could eat just steakhouse sides and be perfectly happy for a while. He is still caring about how the kids would look at it and doesn't want to make her look bad. You're the asshole OP, relationships are not one-way streets, effort needs to be done from both the sides, we have to put our partner's preferences beyond ours sometimes, just to see that happy smile on their face. I appreciate how thorough you were with your response. Good job. I would bet $100 that she doesn't. Not even on birthdays. Angry upvote. r/murder bywords. Lol, I was genuinely stunned at her not wanting to be difficult for the kitchen staff. So you're just gonna be difficult for literally everyone else, then? Jesus, OP you sound exhausting and obnoxious and I'm sensing some jealousy here. Oh, I'll eat steak rarely and have no real dietary restrictions, and this restaurant has various other options for me, but I can only not eat at the one place my husband really wants to, on a night celebrating his achievement. Won't somebody please think of my needs? You're the asshole. And an annoying one at that. Hit the nail on the head. No way around it, OP just flat out sucks. You're the asshole, selfish, and a poor partner. Don't lie. It wasn't that there was nothing you could eat, there was nothing you wanted. You also were too scared to ask the staff for a substitution. It's one dinner. You won't starve if you don't eat everything on the plate, nor will it poison you. Your husband doesn't get to go to this restaurant he likes often because he is honoring your wishes most of the time, but you can't deal with it for him one time. You basically told your family my food preferences are more important than your feelings or supporting you. Then you left your husband in the awkward spot of having to try and lie for you. Because if he told everyone the real reason you missed the dinner, they would be calling you an asshole like this entire thread is. Apologize. And learn that sometimes you don't get everything exactly how you want it. Great response. In my experience, when someone ruins a moment, like this moment to celebrate, it doesn't matter how much they apologize or try and make up with another event, like dinner or whatever, the whole thing just leaves a bad feeling and I don't want to celebrate anymore. In fact, I just want to forget the whole thing and pretend I didn't achieve anything. I might be a brat or have some personal issues, but if this was my spouse, they would have to move heaven and earth to fix this. No, I feel you. It sours the whole thing. It wouldn't be unfixable, but I would definitely need some time to sulk and lick my wounds. But then again, my wife and I are able to parse out when something is about us or not, so person shrugging, AITA, that last bit being about OP, not you, to be clear. Thanks bro for the edit, I assumed you were referring to OP's relationship. Hubby and I love celebrating each other and we're pretty good at putting the other person first in their time to shine. I cannot imagine sending my husband off while sulking at home. Although he would probably call me out and tell me to stop being so dramatic and suck it up. And then he would buy me a really good dessert and tell me he loves me with lots of hugs and kisses to make sure I didn't get hurt when he was being stern. Nah, it's a huge buzzkill. Just shows how important actually celebrating you is compared to someone's own selfish desires. This right here. When I turned 21, my, then, girlfriend and another friend offered to take me to a place where I really wanted to go to have my first legal beer. It was in the mall in the city, we lived in a rural area, so it was kinda a big deal. Well, they wanted to pop into this one store, then this other store, and ooh hey while we're here. We were there 3 hours and I still had not had my beer, no real mention of my 21st birthday, and my special day essentially was trailing behind two people who were supposed to give a crap, but instead wanted to go shopping. And then they were surprised when I was just ready to go, screw this crap. Could I have gone by myself? Yep. Did I want to spend my birthday by myself? No. I'm now 56 years old, and I still resent the hell out of them. My ex used to do this. He'd make a stink like OP until I was just exhausted and none of my proposed solutions to his supposed problem worked, for various reasons, and when I finally was totally bummed out and felt bad for wanting to celebrate something, he'd suddenly switch to suggesting something else, that he liked more. And would get mad when I didn't just pivot to being grateful. It took me a long time to realize he was doing it on purpose. He wanted me bummed about my accomplishments and grateful to him he'd made anything happen at all. The sour taste was the point. I hope OP's husband doesn't let OP stand in their way. 100% this. I had an, now ex-fiancée that I refused to tell any of my achievements to, whether it was work or personal, because if my friends or parents wanted to celebrate it, she would do exactly what OP did. Happened a few times before. I basically just kept everything to myself and never celebrated anything. They also hear the unspoken I neither love nor care about you enough to celebrate your accomplishments with you. And that shit hurts a lot. 100%. I have celiac and there's lots of times places have nothing I can eat. Guess what I do? I eat beforehand. I sit and have a glass of wine and enjoy the company. Would it kill you, OP, to go and celebrate your husband's achievement and be happy for him? It's not about dinner and it's definitely not about you. This. I've learned the hard way to eat beforehand. It's not worth risking a week in bed over cross-contamination. Better that I eat beforehand so I'm not tempted to try anything at a restaurant where I'll more likely than not get something that touched a wheat product at some point. At my old job, management would choose an employee of the quarter and part of it was the entire office would go to that person's restaurant pick for lunch. There was this Thai place everyone loved that we frequently went to. I'm allergic to soy. I would still go to the employee lunch and would chat with my coworkers and just order tea. And I would eat a sandwich or something beforehand. It's really not that hard to be considerate of others. But to answer your question, yes, it quite possible would kill OP to go and celebrate her husband's achievements. And I'm not sure it's physically possible for her to be happy for him. Yup. I was expecting dietary restrictions of some sort, whether ethical, vegan, or medical, allergies, but nope, she just doesn't want what's served lamau. What a spoiled brat. I like how the husband both refused to lie and refused to paint his wife in a bad light. He sounds like a great guy, but may have made a mistake on where to put the ring. If you like the video, hit that subscribe button for more content. I post every day and I'll see you next time with more stories.